Hey, my friend, Kim Gorski here, and another edition of Balance Over Perfect. Perfect. As you know, it's always coming to you real. It's always coming to you just where I'm at, where I'm at in the sense of what is going on with my journey, but also with a lot of people that I have the honor of working as clients and students in my courses, because I think that's the interesting thing about this journey is that we feel like the people on the other end, aka someone on a podcast, someone on social media, a mentor. You feel like we have it figured out, and the interesting thing about it is that we don't. We truly don't. Everyone's just trying their best to not only get by, but to also succeed. Yes, is someone more skilled or more experienced because of years or knowledge or research? 100%. But when we take that person off that pedestal and we start to put them right next to us on the couch having a conversation, and that's what I always want to do with this podcast. I am no better, no greater. I don't even think those words really make sense. I am no better than you because we're all on this journey in different shapes and forms. I love saying this to my students when I have them come through. I say, I learn just as much from you as you do from me. I just happen to be the person facilitating it. So think about that when we talk about what I believe is probably one of the hardest feelings, voids, lack thereof, emptiness that we have going on in our lives. So keep that mindset there. Don't just say this is going to be a yeah, another time that Kim's going to be talking or someone's with some self-help is going to be telling me this. You do deserve this. But now let's detect, let's kind of go through on why all this stuff is coming up for you. So I get a lot of people that come to me and they'll be like, I'm just not good enough at this. Like, it's never going to be good enough. So the question really proposes is, will I ever be good enough? Will you? Because that's like a dagger to my heart and my gut. Like, will I ever be good enough to be the best wife, to be the best mom one day, to be the best dog mom, to be the best empowerment coach, the best social media coach, whatever that is? Will I? And there's things that take us down a notch. There's people that take us down a notch. There's past experiences that take us down a notch. So now, how do we kind of detect on what is it for us? Are we going to figure it all out in the next few minutes? No. But what we are going to figure out is why this is happening to you. Because this is not happening by accident. You're not the only one on this planet that doesn't feel good enough. But yet, when we have those times that we get reprimanded by a boss, we get passed up on an opportunity, or someone says no to us into something that we're really excited to share with them, and then you kind of start to digress. And then you start to say, like, this is just too hard. This is just too frustrating. This just makes me so sad. So now, as you know, I know you were so smart, but as you know, you aren't alone. But yet we feel alone. So why don't you feel good enough? There's a few reasons, and I think this is something where I'm extending this to you is how can you go out there and hone in on this? So for example, I never felt good enough in academics. I really struggled. I struggled with conventional learning. I always did relatively well, but I had a 2.1 GPA when I was in college, my first semester. And I remember going home to my mom, like being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And like, she kind of was just like, no big deal. And it's not that she didn't care about my academics, but I didn't feel good enough. So I needed to kind of go to someone and be like, how can I make this better? I know at the time I was a young adult, but I ended up, being able to internalize that and figure out what I was good at, opposed to go out through college, go out through my whole life thinking this. Has that come up for me many, many, many times? Of course. So I went from a 2.1 to a 3.1 from freshman year to senior year, which I'm really proud of. But that I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, still kept on coming up. And I was wondering, what could I really start to say to myself that would really start to turn it around? And So when we kind of hone in on this, so we're honing in on the enough. What's you're not good enough at? And that's going to really, really, really give you that clarity. So you just saying you're just not good enough in general is honestly not cutting it. You need to really hone in on what that is. So if yours is academics, or yours is just smart and feel inferior, or yours is that you don't feel like you're good enough to succeed, you're good enough to be a great wife or husband, whatever that is. Now, why is that there? Because we may not understand the why, but we can start to reverse engineer. Who has told you that? Or are you the only one that told you that? And it comes up in different forms. It comes up in different forms where I remember I was told that, Kim is, and it's been told maybe a couple times in my life, not every single day. So it's interesting how these things stick. I was told that, Kim, you're going to be known for, and not in these terms, but you're going to be known for the pretty girl, the pretty athletic girl. And so I just kept on running that in my head. And at first, probably didn't affect me as much. But then long term, when it came to academics, when it came to wanting to aspire to be more, do more, oh, crap. I was like, I'm just a pretty girl that was good at athletics. So that's all. I'm just going to be a jock. And I say just. Don't put yourself in the just. And I have to catch myself, because that's where the who's of the world, so you, other people in your world, are saying you're just going to be that way. That's just going to be you. And I'm like, damn, that was so powerful, that statement, that I had to reverse engineer of who said it to now go to why. Why did that person say it? What was going on with them? So you always have to do this. And this is like vital. And I want you to like pause me if you can't really take this in, or go off on the side of the road, or put down that glass of wine. No, actually, you're going to need this glass of wine. Where was that person in their life when they gave you that advice? Or where was that person as a mindset? Because if you are listening to this podcast right now, you are definitely dialing into your mindset. That's a fact. You've taken time out of your day to plug into personal growth. So where is that person or people? Now, do you want to be where they are? And this is big. Gulp that wine right now, or coffee, because this is big. The person that has given you that advice, the person or people that have made you feel this way, and in their defense, someone else made them feel this way as well. But do you want to be where they are? Because we can keep on saying that I'm not good enough for the rest of our lives, and we can keep on pointing the finger at who did this, but you gotta get the fingers back and say where. So this is going to take you some time. This may not be overnight. For me, I had to kind of dig deeper, go lower, understand. But if I really kind of put into the 4 steps of how to really understand, will I ever be good enough? Short answer, yes. Long answer, no, because you're not going to go through this. Will you ever be good enough to your standards is the most important thing. So you got to go why. You got to go to the who's or whom. Is that, yeah, whom. The where. And they'll really bring it home. When will it ever stop? The humbling truth, it may not ever stop. It will come up. You will make fun of yourself. So for example, let's go off the context that I don't think I'm smart enough. So you see me make fun of myself on here and say, guys, I can barely speak. And you listen to me. I appreciate you. That's me making fun of myself, but understanding that is an insecurity of mine. That is a self-limiting belief of mine. But I am determined to work at it. I am determined to prove to myself that the times that I was told that I was not smart enough and I would not amount to anything, that I will challenge it with another podcast, with another amazing, course for women to come through, with another way of putting myself out there on a virtual level, social media, with another way of coming back to my home and bringing that love. That's when I know it will stop. So we get so hard on ourselves, and I really want to preface this. We get so hard on ourselves that it needs to be cut and dry. So for example, you go and do a workout and you've done it for 30 days and you lost all the weight and you're so freaking jacked up by it. And then you gain back the weight. You're like, this is never going to stop for me. I'm always going to yo-yo. I'm always going to struggle with my weight. I'm always going to struggle with my eating. Well, no. If you go back to the why and the who and the where that person was coming from or where you were coming from when you developed these, because this is something that we may have heard in some context from someone down the road in a passing, and we have taken it somewhere with us. And I think that's a really great thing to kind of, if you have parents or family members or coworkers or bosses that have instilled this in you, they need a break. I'm going to cut them a break right now. And I know I'm talking to you, but guess what? They aren't thinking about your day-to-day and your 24/7 mindset and your 24/7 marriage and relationships and career as much as you are. So if they have said something that has really ingrained in you, guess what? It's your turn to now figure out how to make it stop. I understand it feels not fair. I understand it's frustrating. But when we are in anger and resentment and bitterness, nothing changes. Nothing. The person will not change on the other end, or the people, and you won't change. So if we come from this from an area of where we can now really understand this, really be able to tap into this, oh my God, you are going to feel amazing. You're going to feel so amazing that you're going to be rejuvenated when you go through this process. So why have you been there? Who or whom have done it? Where were they coming from, or where were you coming from? Because guess what? If you are listening to this podcast, or if you've listened to anything in your life that is on a personal growth, you are in a different place, my friend. And now, when will you make it stop? I would love to hear from you when you go through this process, because you're more than enough. And this I will ever not be good enough phase in your life will come back up, but guess what? You are prepared. You aren't going through it with blinders on. You are going it with your glasses so wide open, your heart completely exposed to the world, and showing up a better you each day. The best you may be something too hard to reach, but guess what? The better you is explained by you, not by anyone else. I know you're amazing. I don't care what you've done in the past, because I know that you can show up differently each day, regardless of what's happened in the past. You have a chance. Now, you have to ask yourself, is it too late? And it's not. I don't care if you are 25 or 65. It's never too late. Thanks, my friends. I appreciate you, and I know you are more than enough. I just want you to feel it. So give yourself this, as always. Give yourself grace for yesterday, peace for today, and a plan for tomorrow.